welcome back to another video of H&H Express model nscale trains. Today we're gonna dive underneath the layout and we're gonna look at the control board which I built for the area here for the lights of BuddyTown, for the turnouts, and how I'm gonna add these sensors so that I can see where the trains are coming in and when the trains are leaving, so that the turnouts can be set accordingly. As mentioned in previous videos, I'm using JMRI to control the turnouts, to control the lights, and later on maybe put power on the track. But as mentioned, I'm still using a DC layout, so an analog layout and not a DCC. So let me show you the control panel as it is currently and explain a little bit of what I'm gonna do with it to put the sensors in its position. And I will show you within JMRI how I currently have configured it so far. So let's go. So here an overview of the control board which controls my layout. So here at the top you see the relays, and they are numbered T001 up to T012. Those are the turnouts on my main track. The turnouts which I use have snap switches, which means you need to have two relays to control that snap switch. One to set it to straight and one to set it to diversion. These turnouts are controlled by this node 1 JMRI turnout, and when I address it in JMRI, they all called main track turnout 01 up to 12. Here at this area, this is the control for the building lights in BuddyTown, and that is controlled by this Arduino. Then I have another Arduino over here, that is node number 2. That controls the sensors. I just installed the sensors over here, but they will be positioned underneath the table. And this is just for testing purposes as well. Then I have a power node. I did not put a number on top of it here because I still need to determine how I need to control the power to the tracks. Then I have two empty spots. They may be used for sensors as well, or they may be used for the train yard. I know the train yard has its own controller underneath the train yard itself, but I think it would be best if I can control it via this unit as well. And then we will use the I2C bus, the same what I do with the lights in BuddyTown, to control that layout. So as you can see, I have a DCC-EX control station over here. That one is not yet finished. I did not complete the build yet, but I would like to do some testing with DCC on a single track, and that is beside the DC analog track which I'm currently using. Everything is connected to a USB hub, as you can see here. There is currently no power connected to this hub, but it will be later, because if I'm gonna add a lot of other nodes to it as well, then the power of the laptop will be superseded, which means the laptop cannot give enough power to the USB ports, so those will have their separate power connected via a power strip. Then I have over here a power supply. This is just a regular Dell power supply which I use for the 12 volt and the 5 volts. I also have a network switch over here that will be for the cameras, for the IP cameras. And then at the bottom you see I have a regular power strip. So everything is connected and everything works, at least for the turnouts and for the buildings. The sensors partially work, but I can show you that in JMRI. So here you see the 4 different type of sensors. This is an LDR, and when it's dark the LED will go off. So when I put this into the track and the trains come across, you see that the LED goes off, so a signal is sent. So that would be one option. Then we have a second option, which is a read relay. So I have here a wagon with a magnet underneath. If that one is holding on top, you see that the LED is lit. And then we have the infrared sensor. So if that one bounces back, then the LED is lit. And then we have a Hall sensor. So the Hall sensor is inverted the same as the LDR, which means that the LED go off when there is something detected. The problem with the LDR is if it's getting too dark, then we don't have any measurement anymore. So let me switch off the light here. So it's still enough light. Let me switch the other light off. You see that there is no light detection, so I need to set the intensity. So setting the intensity higher, which means that the LDR has less light needed, but it could be completely dark. So now it's still pretty light over here, but if I'm gonna make it too dark, then this one won't work anymore. So the LDR is not a good thing if you want to run your trains in the night as well as being a sensor for detection. The read relay requires a magnet. The infrared doesn't require a magnet, but if it's too bright and if there is too many infrared in the lights itself, then you need to lower the intensity of checking, which can be that the sensor doesn't work correctly. And then you have your Hall sensor, but the Hall sensor also requires a magnet. So what I did is I put the infrared sensor in a track, and next to the track I added a Hall sensor. So I'm gonna remove this magnet, I'm gonna put it on the side, and I put a read relay underneath the track. So now I will show you that those are working. So let me switch cameras and I will see you back.
So here we're back at the computer and you see a layout of my table in JMRI. So we have BuddyTown over here. So you can, I hope you can see my mouse moving. And we have the train station. The train station consists of 4 tracks. So these are the main lines, so the blue ones are the main lines, and this is track 3A. The divergent track of the train station is called 3B. The opposite track here, this area, is called 11A, and the divergent track on the train station is called 11B. So at the bottom section, you see several camera setups, and I will mark them with markers. On the left side, you see that there is a turnout, and the turnout can be switched. Let me show you that. You see that the turnout is now switched to the diversion track, but I'm gonna put it to the main track. So you see that that is a live image. And in that area, and I will show you that in a circle, there is a infrared sensor built in. Next to that you have the detector, and I have a car on the track at this moment. On the right hand side you see, and I'm gonna put that in a circle, there is a Hall sensor which is taped to the side of the track, and I have a read relay which is connected to that sensor at the below that underneath the track. So I'm gonna move over to that area and I will move the train to the infrared sensor, and you can see that the track 3A will be positioned as occupied. So now I move the train, and you see at the top screen that track 3A is occupied. So that sensor works for that track. Now I'm gonna move the train to the other Hall sensors, so the Hall sensor next to it, and I have connected that to 11A. So this should now activate 11A. And underneath the track there is a read relay, and if I activate that one, then you see that 11B is positioned as occupied. It's turning red. So that is how I configured those sensors. And I need to figure out where I would like to have the sensors correctly positioned on the track, but that is an overview of it. So I hope you liked it. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of these videos, please consider to subscribe to my channel, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you and goodbye.